Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airwaves with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll find the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on, a little background on the club, and also you'll find a link that'll take you to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain. Again, the net uses 103.5 for a tone for the Cougar Mountain repeater. So with that information out, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM.
Connected K7ITX.
YM. And welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Already signed in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Bert, N7CS, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, WW7N, James, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is there anybody else who would like to check into the net? Hearing none, let's start the net off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to the group. This is Ron, KD7QKU, and I am in Tacoma. It was a beautiful day in Tacoma today. I was telling Dave I went for a walk, and I visited with 2 or 3 neighbors. It was really nice to have a little social time with the neighbors. One of them was kind of new. I'd spoken to him before, but never really spent much time talking to him. But it was, I spent about 30 minutes talking to him, I think. I was wondering if Joanne was going to think I had a heart attack and was laying on the sidewalk someplace, but she didn't bother to send me a text message or call me, so I guess she didn't miss me. So I came home and had a rhododendron that I planted a couple years ago in the planter, it kind of in back by the steps there from the little deck, and it died this last winter. I think it got flooded by this downspout, so I had a Mondo come over and dig a ditch and put in a pipe, and so we got the water routed away from there. Maybe if I plant something else, maybe it'll live this time. I cut it off hoping that it might sprout back up from the bottom. Rhododendrons are pretty hardy, but no such luck, so I guess we're going to have to replace them. So anyway, I guess that's it for now, so back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Bert in Marysville, N7CS.
Well, hello everyone. Hopefully
I am getting out there. I just plugged my radio back in. Good. I see the thumbs up. I'm only in town here in Marysville for a few days, and then on Saturday evening I will be flying down to Sydney, Australia, so probably won't make the net on Saturday. I'll be on the airplane the whole time there, so that's not going to be fun. I hate long plane flights, but I'm looking forward to spending cruise down there, so that'll be fun. Let's see what else is going on. I found this interesting website the other day. Maybe you all know about it already, but there's a website called hamradiohomes.com, hamradiohomes.com. So if you're looking to buy a new house and you want to buy one that's like in a ham-friendly neighborhood, maybe it already has a couple towers and antennas up, you can look there to find some homes. They don't have very many listed there, but I looked at a couple, sent a few inquiries out, and all of them said, we sold our home like 2 years ago, so I don't think the website's being updated very frequently, so I'm not sure how useful it is, but if it were being updated frequently, it would be a pretty cool website. Let's see what's going on. That's probably it for now. I'll think of some more things to talk about later. So this is Bert in Marysville, N7CS, back to net.
Yes, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Hey guys, let's see. Yeah, rhodis. We had a lot of rhododendrons in our yard when I was growing up, and they would get huge, and then we'd cut them down, and it always surprised me. Talking about, Ron, when you cut it way down, hoping it would grow back, it always surprised me how far you could cut those things down, and then they would just flourish. They just loved it, and they would, they'd grow and bloom, and every time we did it, I don't think we did it every fall, but whenever we did it, I always thought like, oh man, I can't believe we're cutting it down this far. How will it ever look good again? And it always looked good. So that brought back some memories. We had a lot of rhodies. I think it was one of my favorite, or one of my mom's favorite flowers. She did a lot of gardening. That was one of her sort of pleasures, is to have a nice garden. A few actually in our front and backyard. What else? I was trying to think of what interesting has been going on in my life lately, and not very much is the answer. So I'll see if I can come up with something next time. But and Bert, man, going to Australia sounds fantastic. Although you're getting there just about in time for winter. I hope it's going to still be warm enough there. New Zealand, though, I don't know if that's part of your trip, but that's a beautiful, beautiful place. I haven't been, but from all the pictures, and of course the Lord of the Rings movies and all of that, but I would love to get there someday. Okay, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
Thank you, thanks for that. So let's see if Richard's with us, K7ITX in Phoenix.
Yeah, Richard's here. Looks like I'm getting out. Okay. I guess turn my video on. So, hi everyone. Yeah, Bert, gee whiz. Good to see you. It's not very often, but it's great to see you and enjoy yourself on your journeys, as I'm doing a journey myself, but quite a bit in a different way. It's real nice and clear here in Phoenix. The television stations down here report 110 degrees at the high today. Tomorrow will be 114, and then Saturday 113. I finally broke down and had Debbie go to Target and buy me a bathing suit. So tomorrow, after the sun goes down, after 114, I think using the swimming pool, I've only seen one person use it so far, and that's Debbie. Debbie saw someone else use it once, but it's a very nice pool. It's 7 foot deep, just clean and clear and blue as can be. But you know, when you only have 18 units to the complex, you know, and most of the people are pretty much used to it. I'm the only fool that went out on the grass and got ate up alive by no-see-ums. So, and probably a tick. Something I swear buried itself into my hand, but I didn't leave. I dug it out, or what? Maybe I was just dreaming. Maybe it was just a bad mosquito bite. I don't know. But so yeah, no, it's pretty wild. We're just getting, you know, waiting for the call. Talk to the RN who's in charge of making the calls, and not about not being called, but just keeping the communication going back and forth between the University of Washington and the hospital on that. So, so that's about it for now. Yeah, no, I'll talk next time around. I've got some gardening things to talk about as well. K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, thanks for that. And for an ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
Hey guys, well, I wasn't quite ready, but it's nice to see everybody. Let me see, what have I done today? Just enjoying the weather outside. It's just beautiful out here in Tacoma today. Besides, I've been tinkering with a couple of things Linux related, so that's why I almost forgot the net. I was tinkering, so I looked up and I said, wow, it's 8 o'clock already. With that said, I'll turn the net back, and maybe I'll have something more to talk about next round. And it is definitely nice to see some new familiar Bert, seeing Bert back on. So nice to see you, Bert. Looks like you're back home. All right. Well, I'll catch you guys on the next round.
W7ITL, thanks for that. Let's pick up Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, rhododendrons. Yeah, interesting. Pretty much around the last net that we had on Saturday, I don't know if it was Saturday or if it was Sunday, but I noticed the roadies that we have just gone wild. They are flowering like crazy. At least I think that's what these things are. We've got red ones and white ones, and it sure looks pretty. I have never cut them way back. I've trimmed them to make them look neat, and after all the flowers go away at the end of the year, I kind of make them a little bit smaller, but I've never really cut them down, so cut them way back, so I don't know how to trim them for real. Probably should hire some professional to do that, but maybe I'm a little too cheap. So anyway, Bert, Saturday, yeah, pleasant voyage. Yeah, I don't know, that not much you can do about long flights. Just have to kind of tough it out, I guess. And hamradiohomes.com, I'll have to check that out. Interesting. I might want to move somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where. And that might be at least something to look at. I seem to remember seeing some website advertised in the past. I think it was maybe in the back of QST magazine, but I could be wrong about that. I may have seen it advertised somewhere else. And it was some realtor who was specializing, it seems to me it was some realtor who was specializing in selling ham radio friendly homes. I don't know. I'll have to check that out anyway. Thanks for mentioning that. Dick, 110 degrees, 114 degrees, 113 degrees, oh my. At least Deb bought you some new Speedos there. I don't know. When I was living there, a whole lot of people, even though they had pools, they didn't really go in the pools very much. Excuse me. It seems like the water always got a little bit too warm. Almost like going into a hot tub all the time, and at the end of the day, most of my friends wanted to cool down a little bit, and they didn't really enjoy going in the pool, so we usually wound up sitting by the pool enjoying adult beverages. But I don't know. See what you think. And you've got some kind of bite, maybe? Did it happen during the night by chance? I don't have a picture of you, but if it had happened during the night, I wonder if it might be bed bugs at the new place there. I was at a hotel one time, and my arm was getting munched on during the night, and it would wake me up, and I'd turn on the lights, and I'd see nothing. Well, the critters would scatter, and they were all hiding behind this headboard. So I don't know. Could be ticks, could be bed bugs, could be mosquitoes. I've never had problems getting bitten when I was there, but that was in the 70s that I was there. Just the thought about the bed bugs, that could be a problem. If it is bed bugs and they're biting like on your hand or where your arm would be close to the headboard, maybe try moving down like 2 or 3 feet, and your legs might dangle over the end of the bed, but see if that reduces the frequency that you're being bitten. Just a thought. And Wade, you spent the day tinkering. That's great. Well, I spent the day mostly doing dumb stuff around the house that I did not want to be doing, but someone had to do it. And as I came out here to the shack and turn on the 2-meter rig, I've got this snap, crackle, pop going on 2 meters, and I'm saying, okay, what's going on? So looking around, I turned off the overhead fluorescents out in the bay, and yep, sure enough, I've got one fluorescent that's kind of flickering on and off just a little bit, and amazing how much noise this is being picked up by my 2-meter receiver. But yeah, tinkering used to be my favorite thing to do, and then I got married and had much less time to tinker, excuse me. Freudian slip. Anyway, sounds like fun. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
K7ITX.
7QO, thanks with that. Let's go to James, WW7N.
Well, good evening all. This is James, WW7N in northeast Bellevue. Well, let's see. Social time, Ron. It's always good to get to know your neighbors. You know, you never know when you'll just, break out into a big witch burning party. It's best to be on a first name basis with everyone in the neighborhood. That's how I kind of felt during COVID. I'm glad to hear someone who lives with him says no one would know if you were missing or not. I was having this discussion with a friend of mine, And we were even thinking possibility of some sort of a website or something where if you don't, get on the website and put in a code or something, it would send emails saying something like, Jim hasn't logged into his website he's supposed to log into for 3 days. Because, I could go missing, particularly if I'm, working on the back of my house, I fall into the green belt. I guess the coyotes would be sad, but I don't know if anybody else would find me or know about it. So it's an interesting thing as you get older. For the link to hamradiohomes.com, that sounds like a real niche market, and it sounds to me like it would be kind of difficult, because what you really want, I think, is a place you could put up all your stuff, but the other homes around you wouldn't complain, but they're not amateur radio operators, because I was aware of a place in Central America, I think it was Puerto Rico in the 80s, and there was this incredible density of ham radio operators in this one area, and they actually had to make agreements among themselves. Fortunately, there wasn't more than 24 of them, I guess, where they would have rotating hours, like, your hours from 11 to midnight, or your hours from midnight to 1, and then that would constantly be in this rotating thing, so you next week, or next day, or whatever their time schedule was, you'd have the next hour. Because they were all blasting, high-power signals, and if they all did it at the same time, all they do is just overload each other's receivers. So they had to cooperate, and the man I talked to said it worked out really well, the system. Everybody kind of understood it, and, if you didn't use your time or you didn't come up on the air and something was open, then it was, they would call each other. They all had a listing of each other's landlines. They would say, are you going to use it? If not, then someone else could jump on. The Darren story sounds to me like how I was taught to prune grapes in an eniology class. I was wondering how the poor little grapevine would ever survive. Because when you prune grapes, you do the same thing. There's hardly anything left. But if you prune it like that, then it's sort of like the grape plant wants to get even with you or something, and it comes back and makes these delicious grapes, like as if to say in your face, so there, buddy, it didn't work, did it? As you tried to almost kill it with your pruners a few months before. This one's for Richard. Do they have a special phone for you? I think you should have a special bat phone, like this, that they call you on at this point. I think just an ordinary phone is just kind of a letdown. I think there should be some kind of special phone. Just a thought on that. I am absolutely wasted right now. I was up very early this morning. I took a friend to the hospital for a hip replacement, and got them there, and then this evening I fed their cat, and wow, it's just kind of catching up to me that I was up so early, and they're supposed to get released tomorrow. I remember mine was supposed to be a one-dayer, and it turned into 3, so we'll see what happens. And Bert, I'm jealous that you're going to winter in Australia. That sounds exciting, or at least going down there for a trip. I don't know how cold it gets now. I would assume in the south part of the continent, I would assume it gets wintry. That's pretty close down there. We're supposed to be up to, I think it's 84 degrees this Saturday, 79 degrees on Friday. So it's really gone from one way to the other. I guess we had our last rainstorm, and now we're going to cook for a little bit. There is one question I had for everybody on the digital side. The new icon, AI Companion, down at the bottom. I don't know if anybody knows what the AI Companion does or not, but I'm afraid to click it for fear it would take over my entire house, and then, I control my air conditioning, refrigerator, everything. But if you know what the AI Companion is, let me know. Bed bugs. I don't know. Bed bugs will crawl many, many yards off your baggage to get to human scent. So I'm not sure. Rumor has it they have little wingsuits, and they can get to a high point and jump and fly. But I don't think they actually have normal wings. They have to get them off Amazon like all the rest of us. Last thing I'd say is 10 meters was hot a couple days ago. I was listening on the ever helpful internet to a station in Utah, a very nice receiver there, huge antenna array for their SDR receiver, and I was listening to stations in Long Beach, beacons coming in just crystal clear, with a little bit of fade coming and going. So I guess 10 meters is hot, we're at the getting into the top part of the 11-year sunspot cycle, so I got to get on there at midday and see what I can do. Anyway, that's it for this round. This is James WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let me turn it back to net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Dave, take it away.
WW7M, thanks for that. And this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. Oh my, what a gorgeous day. I got 62 degrees out and it's clear. And ironically, we don't get sunset till about 5 minutes past 9. So it's hard to believe. We have a daylight situation where we have a net. It's pretty exciting this time of the year, considering in the wintertime by 4 o'clock it's dark. So that's pretty good. Well, today I wandered off to Costco and I discovered they had pulled pork in a 2-pound package in the cooler. So I decided to bring that home and try it out. Mixed it with some barbecue sauce and some sriracha sauce, mixed it up and put it in the microwave for about 5 minutes, and oh my, it made some fantastic pulled pork sandwiches. So I was impressed with their product. It really went well. So that's about it with me. And then I worked on the yard this afternoon, still defoliating. I don't know where all of these plants get the water. We've had such a dry winter, but boy, things like to grow in the yard, I'm finding out. And so cutting it back and filling up those 90-gallon green garbage cans to take away the greenery. So anyway, that's what I was doing, and my body's rejecting me from doing some yard work. Oh my, aging is a wonderful thing. So with that, I'm going to take it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU again. Well, yeah, Bert, going to Australia. Joanne had a friend that, was from Australia, and she passed away, and so she had to ship all of her stuff down there, and her ashes and everything. It was quite an ordeal. I've never been there. I talked to a guy in Tasmania one time, had a really nice conversation with him. I noticed in a picture that he had on QRZ that he had like cherry trees and they were in bloom, and I hadn't thought that we were having winter and he was having summer, but anyway he was having spring. That was kind of neat. Richard, I looked at Scottsdale today when I came in here, and it said it was 107. I assume that was the high for the day, but maybe it wasn't. You saying it got up to 110. So yeah, I don't know what it did here, but it was very, very pleasant. And Jim, you were talking about rhododendrons. You can just cut them practically down to the ground, and they'll come back. When we had our big trees cut down in Bellevue, they fell, on the rhododendrons that were there and just destroyed them. And there was nothing left but the basic stalk almost sticking out of the ground. It was all busted off, and I didn't know what to do with them. And before I did anything with them, they all started coming back. They started sprouting, and the next thing you know, a year or two, we had beautiful big rhododendrons again. So I don't think you could destroy them. I think you could cut them any way you want them. Joanne always deadheads them, takes the blossoms off. I never did do that, but if you don't, then it sprouts out, 2 or 3 new things, shoots, instead of maybe 1 or 2. So let's see. Pulled pork. Oh my, I haven't had pulled pork for a while. Sounds really good. We might have a pork butt in the freezer. I'll have to go out and take a look. Maybe I can encourage Joanne to put it in the crock pot. That's what we've done with them the last couple of times. Came out really good. Speaking of crock pot, here a week or so ago, Joanne made a pot roast. It was a kind of cool days. she put a pot roast in, and it was called Mississippi pot roast. A little different recipe, but man, was it good. I'm telling you, if you want a good pot roast, look up Mississippi pot roast, and it'll be a good one. And I'm looking at Wade. I think Wade might have got a haircut. He looks a little shorter than he did previously, I think. And over here in my neighborhood, we're going to have this run. So they run from the park across the street all the way down Narrows Drive towards Ruston. And I don't know how far they run. I guess some people run a long ways and other people don't run so far. Then they come back through the neighborhood here behind me, and they come around up Defiance Street, which is, we're on the corner of Defiance and 37, so they come up Defiance Street and turn right in front of us. So they'll be busy Saturday morning. Streets are all going to be blocked off. I was thinking I might like to go to the Tacoma Radio Club this week, Saturday, but I don't know. I probably have to move the car in order to get it out. So we'll see how that works out. So anyway, that's enough of that, I guess. Back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU, thanks for that. And for an ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Bert, N7CS in Marysville.
Okay, hello again. Let's see, so other things I've done today, I was watching the Boeing Starliner launch. That happened around 8 a.m. this morning, and it was successful so far-ish. They launched with a known helium leak, but they said it was going to be small. It was impacting only one, I guess, I don't know, one valve or thruster or something. But as of about 2 hours ago, 2 more helium leaks have sprung up once they got into orbit. And so now they've got 3 helium leaks that are happening on 3 different thrusters. So I guess we're going to have to figure out if that's going to pose any problem or not. And then tomorrow morning at around, so the Starliner, if it still docks, it's going to dock with the space station around 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. But also tomorrow, around 5 a.m. our time, SpaceX will be doing their next launch of the Starship, test number 4. So that'll be at around 5 a.m. tomorrow morning for the Starship launch. So I'll probably set my alarm and wake up a little bit before that to see to see the video feed of that. And then on my cruise, so just some information on that. Originally, the cruise was supposed to be going to New Caledonia, several stops in New Caledonia. I've been there before, like a year ago, on a different cruise, but apparently there's a bunch of political unrest now in New Caledonia, so all those ports have been canceled, and we will be going to Vanuatu instead for the ports. So I don't think I've ever been to Vanuatu, so that'll be interesting. But anyway, that's the other news for now. So this is Bert in Marysville, in 7CS. Back to that.
CS, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob in Bothell, K9PQ.
Again, guys. Oops. Get me on the camera here. I remembered what I wanted to talk about. This evening and tomorrow evening, I believe it's the evening, I didn't check the times, but it's the lowest tides of the year. My friend Chris, KCAWS, he actually went with some friends all the way out to the coast. In fact, they were, he texted me at about noon telling me he was on his way to Port Angeles, and we were joking about how I don't know how many of you know, but Lee just loves the hospital food services there. Services. Whoa, that was hard to get out. They've got a little cafe down there, and you wouldn't think. You think, I mean, hospital food's normally a joke, right? Who wants to eat hospital food? But they love to go there, and I've gone, and it's really good. You know, and it's your basic cafeteria, but they just have really good food, and it's prepared well. And it's cheap, you know. It's got going for him. So he was joking about stopping in there for lunch and see if he would see Lee and Paula there. But so that's tides. Yeah, the Starliner. I'm just really happy. They finally got it up there. I didn't know about the leaks happening. I didn't, especially about there being more leaks, but I'm sure it can't be too serious if they're continuing on. And yeah, this weather has been nice. Today it got to 65 here, so just really pleasant. I'm not ready for 110. No thanks. We had it that one summer, and that's enough for me. And bed bugs, I have not experienced bed bugs, but I have known a few people that have, and yeah, you don't want any piece of that. And they're, you guys might know this already, but the reason why they are a problem, they used to be a problem. That's why there was always a saying, "Don't let the bed bugs bite." And I heard that as a kid, and I was like, "What is this? Is this from a fairy tale?" You know, and but it was the DDT was what got bed bugs under control. But of course, it was also causing the eagle population to not be able to reproduce, and so they banned. I don't know if that was the only reason, but there probably were other reasons too. But they banned DDT, and it really was the only thing that kept the bedbug populations under control. So that's why you've been hearing a lot more about it in the news in the last few years. It's become a big problem in some bigger cities around the world. I guess around the world, in the U.S. for sure, and Europe. So I guess that's all I got for now. Back to Ned.
WW7ATS in Phoenix.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. As far as bed bugs are concerned, and I know I've experienced them, and that is, I just have the old-fashioned no-see-em and mosquito bites. Maybe not even from this place, because I've been here since the 1st of May, and I was foolish enough to be walking around without socks, bare sandals, and shorts after sunset, when the bugs come out. But I don't know. It's never a problem for me. But one thing that did occur to me is maybe because I have so much oxygen around me with the oxygen concentrator, that might be attracting them as well. And then plus, it seems like the mosquitoes here are a lot tinier, much more difficult to see, and a lot more hard to slap with your hands. So I don't know. But yeah, no, they're not bed bugs. I'm sure of that. So let's see. Yeah, you were talking about rhododendrons. Yeah, there used to be at the street from my house on Bridgeport Way, a rhododendron, I don't know, farm, I guess. There's about 2 or 3 acres, maybe 4, of just nothing but rhododendrons, and they sold them. They had a greenhouse where they would, I guess they're really into grafting and making different, styles of rhododendrons and that sort of thing. But as a kid, they just look like, just over, little shrubs or something. You know how rhododendrons, they don't flower, but once a year, and so normally you wonder what's the big deal over these plants. You see people putting them in their car and driving away all happy, and I go, geez. But same people also had a nice garden of vegetables that we used to like to, as kids, sneak out of the backyard, pretending we're sleeping outside, go raid people's gardens, because there's nothing like fresh peas, on the pod, and or carrots out of the ground, and then so after that harvest, then later on in the day we had permission to go down the street to where all the cherry trees are. First it would be the Rainiers, and the next one would be the dark red ones. And then come fall, we had our choosing of plums and hazelnuts and filberts. So, you know, we had a pretty good menu going, you know, all through spring, all the way into fall as kids. So we didn't need to go buy candy or anything. It was just at our fingertips. So anyway, and let's see. So around here, we're just getting used to the lay of the land. I'm not in Scottsdale. I am literally in the heart of
Timeout. K7ITX.
Alright, I guess I'm back. Sorry, god dang it, I totally forgot about how, well, I forgot a couple things. Number one, it seems like it's a little bit shorter fuse on Echolink, and then of course, I'm long-winded anyway. So, doggone it, I don't know what else Bob said that got my attention. I guess it might have been, darn it, anyway. Sorry, Bob, you said something that was really interesting to me, and I had I don't know, maybe it was the bed. I think you were talking about bed bugs, weren't you? Okay, yeah, maybe that's all it was. And then I was going to just mention, so yeah, I'm in the heart of Phoenix. Just there's a main drag that goes through, travels east-west in Phoenix called Camelback Road. And so I'm only 15 minutes from the hospital, so that should be pretty simple to get there when I get the call. And so I found a Philly cheesesteak place called Corleone's, so that was pretty nice. And then City Market Deli has got really great Reuben sandwiches. So just trying out all this stuff, trying to, you know, cook now and then. We cook dinner, but if we can get a good sandwich somewhere, and they're close by as well. So anyway, Pippa and Mika still seem to be enjoying themselves. That's half the battle. So this is K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks, Richard. Let's go to Wade, W7ATL.
I'll go ahead and comment on Bert's check-in, and that's pretty cool about the Starliner taking off today. I had forgotten that it was scheduled today. Hopefully they figure out those helium leaks, and then sounds like maybe there's going to be a SpaceX launch tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'm going to have to see if I can wake up early and watch that on NASA TV if it's going to be broadcasted. Let's see what else. Oh, my daughter came over today, and we had dinner, and today was her last day of high school officially. She graduates next week, and we'll be going to that graduation. It's at the Tacoma Dome, so that's going to be pretty neat. Sending her off to college she goes. What other stuff? Let's see. I didn't take her all day, but I did take her after work. But it kind of time got away from me. So you know, this is how it goes when you're trying to figure stuff out. Let's see what else. I think that's going to be about it. Oh, I did have one other thing. I did meet a new ham. I haven't told him about our group yet, but he's technically not new ham. He's came back after 20 years of being out of ham radio. We exchange a little bit, and he's looking at some help with some of his radios and maybe getting another radio. So I'm looking at maybe helping out with getting one of those new HF, not a new HF, but one of my HF radios I have here that I'm not using. So let's see what else. That's about it. So I'll turn it back to Nat. Whiskey 7, India Tango Lima.
ITL, let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Jim, I don't know about AI Companion. I cannot help you there. I have seen that enunciated somewhere on either a computer screen or maybe my cell phone, but I don't remember where. I just ignored it. I want nothing to do about it, just as of yet. Thanks for helping out a friend there, hip replacement. Glad you checked in with us, even though you're tired. Good luck getting him tomorrow. Dave, thanks for mentioning the Costco pulled pork. I will look for that too. I found stuffed peppers, which you said in the past. I never did find chili at my Costco, and I have looked every time I've gone there. Don't know what to make of that. Maybe everyone likes it and it disappears quickly, because I only usually make it there about every 3 weeks or so. And someone reminded me, I have more yard work to do as well. Bummer. Oh well. At least we've got some nice weather coming up for it. So that's good. Bert, Boeing Starliner. Yeah, I watched that take off this morning too. Someone on a previous net mentioned that it was rescheduled here because I was expecting it last Saturday, I think it was. And I did not hear that it developed 2 additional helium leaks. That's not good. I hope it works out okay. And thanks for mentioning the 5 a.m. launch tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if my wife will allow me to set an alarm to get up at that time or not. But maybe I'll set up something to record. Maybe it'll be on some station. Bob, you were saying that Lee kind of commented about liking hospital food. I remember him saying something about that in the past, but if you remember, when it gets around to you, please mention once again, is that at the hospital in Port Angeles? I don't remember. That's just, if I'm going to have to relocate somewhere, these are important things to consider. And Dick, raiding gardens. Oh my. Unfortunately for me, I grew up in an urban area, did not have a whole lot of choices from which to pick when I was a youngster. Not that we haven't thought about it. And Reuben, yeah. I used to really like Philly cheesesteaks, and then there's one time I went to one restaurant and they had a Reuben, and it was like the most wonderful sandwich I ever had. And lo and behold, when I went back there again several months later, they discontinued it. And I kind of raised a fuss about that. It's like, why was it discontinued? Lack of interest or what? And I never did get a straight answer out of that. My guess is they got a different staff in the kitchen, but they never did admit that to me. So whatever. Anyway, that brought back fond memories. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
7QO, get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to WU7N James in Northeast Bellevue.
WW7ATS here. Well, the discussion of bed bugs got me remembering an article I read this morning, and I'll share an infographic with you. It's what animal is the most dangerous animal in the world to humans? And it's a big surprise because, let's wait for it to come up. There it is. It is the deadly mosquito. That's the most dangerous animal. And if you just count homicides alone, I'm not sure they're counting war in this, just homicides. Of course, the most dangerous thing to humans is other humans. And number 3 and 4 on the list are snakes and dogs. And by dogs, I think they're counting all canines on that, because I do know 2 people who got treed up a antenna tower in Siberia by these little Arctic wolves. And he didn't think he had anything to worry about. His guide was quite concerned about them. When he saw one, he said, "There's more," and they ran for the tower and made it up there before he said all of a sudden they were just like cockroaches all around the tower looking at them going, "When are you guys going to come down? Why don't we make this easy on both of us?" He said it was, he says he can laugh about it now, but it wasn't really very funny at the time. The surprise is the assassin bug. And I guess that is really a big problem because it spreads a protozoan. Unlike the bed bug, which is just annoying, but apparently you would think they would spread disease. But the assassin bug is a problem, and I guess that it bites and defecates and urinates, and then that gets people instinctively scratch at the bite, and that smears it on the bite, and then it causes a protozoan to get inside of you. And the thing about it is it's a disease that you're aware you have it at first, and then it kind of goes asymptomatic but still does damage, kind of like syphilis. Crocodiles, I'm not sure if that's only if you live in Florida. Elephants, maybe that's only if you work at a zoo. I'm not sure. I guess not. Hippos, I'm surprised they're not higher on the list. They're really actually quite hazardous. And lions, I mean, who could lie in about that? I think they're telling the absolute truth. They make number 10. But I don't think they like it because, you know, you always see the pictures on the Nature Channel of them spitting you out, brushing their teeth, and demanding mouthwash. So I don't think humans are their natural prey. So those are the top 10 deadliest animals for everyone's enjoyment. With that, I've got 7 minutes left. I'll turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
7N, thanks for that. Oh my gosh. Richard, in a bite. Well, I know my personal experience. Sand fleas have a tendency to find their way in the grass areas down in Arizona. So that's a possibility. And then also little tiny scorpions that are about the size of a small ant. When they're infantry, they can kind of sting you. You're not expecting something that small. Gosh, they're about a quarter-inch long. They're pretty small when the little babies come out. And unfortunately, the baby ones are more lethal with their sting for some reason, as opposed to the adult. So those are things to be looking out for. Oh my. And getting into winter with this high weather warmth, boy, envy Bert going down to a cool area in the world. It's kind of a nice way to go for fall. And so while we're having summer here, they're having wonderful cooler weather down in the southern hemispheres. So that can be kind of an excitement and a change in weather. So that's pretty much what I've got to say. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here again. Well, Joanne went to the store today and she told me that gas at Safeways was $4.17, so I guess the price of gas is coming in. I think I heard that Biden released a bunch out of the strategic reserve again. I think he's probably trying to buy votes to get the gas prices down. But anyway, James, it was nice of you to take your friend over to the hospital, I assume, in Bellevue to get his hip replacement. I had him do mine, and it was really probably the one of the easiest surgeries I ever had, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it. I went in at, 7 o'clock in the morning or something, and they had me walking at noon. They said, come on, get out of bed. I was hardly awake. And from the anesthetic, they said, you got to walk. And I couldn't believe it, but they had me walking around the hallway. Sent me home the next morning, I think it was. I think I stayed all night. So he'll probably be fine tomorrow. That's about it over here, so I'm going to send it back to Dave, and I don't know, Bert or somebody can have a few minutes. KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to our world traveler, Bert, N7CS.
Well, I don't know that I really have much more to talk about for now. Oh, well, I guess I can think of one thing. So, I've been cleaning up around the house, and one of the things I found was an old DVD that I made from it was a skydiving video I did back in 1998. Originally, it was, well, I guess the skydivers recorded it on high 8, but when they gave it to me, they mixed it and everything, and they gave it to me on VHS, and I think I had one of those DVD recorders that would take in, like, the composite video from a VHS player and, like, transcode it onto DVD. So then I had to rip that DVD on my computer earlier this week to get it into like an MP4 format for the machine. And then I uploaded it to Facebook, and who knows what kind of transcoding they do. So that poor video probably went through so many transformations to finally actually show up on Facebook, but it's like in super terrible, low-quality VHS, 240 lines of resolution, but it's like the only evidence I have other than photographs that I did skydiving back in 1998. So it's been the first time I've seen that video in probably more than 15 years or something. I think I did that jump like 26 years ago, which made me feel kind of bad because I think I was 24 years old when I did the jump. So it's now been longer since I've done the jump than I had been alive at the time that I did the jump. But yeah, so that kind of, well, and my hair was all nice and brown and very dark in the video, not the light grayish color that is now, so that made me feel bad too. But anyway, okay, I guess that was something for not having anything to say. So this is Bird in Marysville, N7CS, back to net.
CS. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Don't have a lot of time, so quickly I will say yes to Jim. It is the hospital in Port Angeles. They have a nice hospital there, and that was a big reason why they moved there. Paula was in hospital administration, and she and the people that she met with around the state of Washington or wherever she met with people, she got to know which were the better hospitals and which were the worst ones, and so that's a very good recommendation on that. Let's see, what else do I have quickly? I saw on your chart, James, dogs also had that asterisk for spreading disease. So it's not just dogs out and out killing someone. It's they give you a bite and then you die of the disease. And I thought I had something else. I don't see it, so I'll just send it on back to Dave to wrap things up. K9PQ.
PQ, and it's time to wrap up the net. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7ATS repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions during our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7's ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.